This is TNT News.
From every corner in Ladywood, we're bringing you the latest news.
This is Tonight in Ladywood.
First, tonight, you can't have failed to notice, August wasn't a very peaceful month, with riots breaking out across England.
The worst of the incidents, of course, was the death of 3 people on Dudley Road.
After the funeral, MP for Ladywood, Shabana Mahmood, spoke exclusively to Nikisha Bedrick.
So, Shabana, you're aware of the riots that happened earlier this summer in August. And do you think that the police were entirely in control of what happened?
Well, I think the police have admitted that they got the first bit of their response wrong because as Chris Sims, who's the Chief Constable of West Midlands Police, has already said in his report, he thought that, and his officers thought that they were a bit too stationary, so they were kind of almost like they were watching what was going on rather than going out there and stopping things. So obviously when you have a public disorder event, usually the police are stationary because they're trying to control a large number of people, but this wasn't public disorder, this was obviously criminality, and they needed to get in there and stop everybody from rioting and looting in these shops. So that's where I think they went wrong in the initial phase. And then there's also, I think personally, an issue about police communication as well. So on Dudley Road, on Soho Road, a lot of people thought they had to protect their shops themselves, and that shouldn't be what's happening because you should be able to rely on the police.
Okay.
There were huge traffic jams and congestion as an estimate 20,000 people converged on Summerfield Park for the funeral. This was to commemorate the lives of the 3 men who were killed on Dudley Road during the riots.
And do you think you could do anything to stop this happening again in the future?
It was unprecedented, we've never seen anything like this before, but we've got to learn lessons from it and make sure that nothing like this happens in the future either.
How do you think everyone in Birmingham were affected by the riots?
Well, obviously the people who had their properties damaged and their businesses destroyed, obviously for them it's changed their lives because now they've got to put in compensation claims, and a lot of businesses still don't know what they're doing in terms of the future. They've lost a lot of money. Obviously 3 young men tragically lost their lives, so their families, for them life will never be the same again, and there's a whole community that needs to get over that loss, and that's going to take a long time as well, I think.
Now, regular viewers will know that a badge making company based in the Jewellery Quarter is closing down after being open since 1910.
Yes, that's right. In our last programme we reported on the business.
The business was established by William Reeves in 1910, and the current owners are Josh and Jitesh Chauhan, who have been here for 30 years.
Altogether there was 24 ladies and gents. Obviously some did soldering, some ladies did enamelling.
That's a brooch pin badge ready for plating now. I could do 1,000 badge within over and a half.
How do you think you'll feel when you finally leave, if you end up doing that?
It's heartbreaking.
Totally devastated it'll be. It'll be totally devastated. We've got so much experience and the skills. It means a lot to us. Put it this way, it means a lot.
Obviously, that's going to be a sad day. But now, there is some good news.
Over time, the Ladywood History Group have developed a Made in Ladywood mini museum. Yes, most of these things were made in factories in Ladywood.
We have obtained many badges. Eventually, these will go on display in many places across Ladywood.
So that means they can stay in the area in which they were made. Now, for some TNT tea. We'll be back after some news in brief.
Artsfest took place earlier this month, and we set out cameraman Kane a challenge to film some of the events as well as edit his footage into a short montage. And this is the end result of his endeavours.
You may recognise Thomas Attwood, who became Birmingham's first MP in 1832. This statue is in Chamberlain Square, but TNT discovered another statue of him that exists.
The other statue once stood in Stevenson's Place, near the present-day ramp up to the Palisade shopping centre.
And then it got moved out to Sparkbrook in the 1970s, because Attwood lived out there for a while. Unfortunately, it got quite badly vandalised.
In the early 1830s, Attwood gave speeches to the Birmingham Political Union, with up to 200,000 people gathering on the sandpits to hear him call for a change in the law to enable more people to be able to vote.
Where we are now is in a bowl, and it's hard to imagine what it would have been like around here 180 years ago with no buildings. But this sketch here gives us an idea. The key buildings are St Paul's Church and the chapel. There's the church in the background. The chapel is still standing, but it's hidden behind this building, so let's go and have a look. In 1832, I'd be fighting my way through the crowds up this hill. And this plaque commemorates the event. So this must be the chapel, which is now a Sikh temple. Next summer sees the 180th anniversary of the gatherings at Newhall Hill, and later the 180th anniversary of Attwood becoming an MP.
And there's currently plans to restore him, and at the moment we're going to move the proposal taken to Harborne, because the people of Harborne, the Harborne Society, the politicians there were very, very keen to try and raise the money.
We'd obviously like to see him brought back to Ladywood.
We spoke to historian Carl Chinn on BBC Radio WM and asked him where the statue should be located.
There's been a bit of an issue on where it should be placed, and we personally think that it should be in Ladywood because it commemorates the event of how many people that turned up, and basically you can walk past that statue and history, like, it will just be coming at you, like you'll just be in the moment of where it happened and when, so I think there's no other place to put it really.
And whereabouts in Ladywood would you like to see it?
Well, I think it should be around about the Jewellery Quarter, just on the outskirts of Ladywood.
On the borders of Hockley and Ladywood?
Yeah.
Because that's where he had these great meetings.
Yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's something I've been trying to urge the council to do for a long time. I would love to see it at the bottom of Summerhill, at the Sandpits, which is where the great crowds went up the hills there. So you've got my full support for that campaign.
So where should the big statue go? Harborne or Ladywood? Let us know what you think on our website, tntnews.co.uk.
You're watching TNT News, and now with more news of the day, here's Hannah.
Regular viewers will know that we've been following the progress of the Coffin Works factory at the Jewellery Quarter. Organisers of the Fleet Street building have applied for a huge grant. Alex is at the works now, and I gather, Alex, that there's some good news.
Yes, there is some good news. We're here, they've had a grant. Elizabeth, can you tell us where you got the grant from and what you intend to spend it on?
Yes, we've got the grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund, just under £1 million, which is fantastic, and we intend to spend it on restoring this building. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Here we go. This is the storeroom. I'll take you straight upstairs because it's dark here.
So here we are in the warehouse. Elizabeth, can you tell us what the grant is going to be used for?
Yes, it's going to be for repairing the fabric of the building, and you can see some of the windows. The windows in themselves are fantastically expensive, about £2,000 a piece to restore, and we've got 91 of them, so that's quite a big amount. And obviously the roofs and things like that.
And then the other big expense is the services you've got, because at the moment we've got no power, we've got no electricity, no gas, no water, nothing.
As you can see now, it's a bit bare, but as regular viewers will know, last time we was here there was lots of interesting machinery and artefacts to look at like this.
Well, it was set up in 1894. It was designed in 1892, but it opened in 94, and it was set up to make coffin fittings. So they didn't actually make the coffins here, they just made all the bits and pieces that went on it, so it was the handles, you can see them here, the handle and sort of symbols, things like that. They made crosses, they made breastplates.
At one time, over 100 people worked here. When it closed in 1999, it was one of only 3 coffin furniture manufacturers left in England. So let's find out a little bit more about this dying trade.
And a shroud is actually, this is only the front, it's like only the front piece.
Any really special ones?
Well, there's the football colours, come and have a look. We've got Birmingham City.
I like that one.
Oh, and then there's obviously the Aston Villa one.
Oh, why are we seeing dead in that?
So, assuming that everything goes to plan, how long do you think it will be before everything's open to the public?
We will be on site next summer, but we hope to show people around whilst we're actually working on site, because there'll be all sorts of interesting things going on. But we'll actually open generally for people to actually look around the building in summer 2013.
I know it looks quite bare now, but this time in 2 years' time, who knows what it'll look like. For now, back to Hannah in the studio.
Earlier this month, Kane and Nikisha spoke about TNT's work on Radio WM. This is part of what they said.
It boosts my confidence a lot. I wouldn't be able to go and speak in front of loads of people, to have a camera right in front of me and to say anything. And I've learned a lot about Ladywood. I find it really interesting. I've never been so engaged in something before. Like, I'll pick up something and it will get a bit boring, but this never happens. I'll happily wake up out of bed at 8 o'clock in the morning.
To go and do something about Lady. Has it meant that you've really got your mum and your dad and your aunts and uncles and all the family engaged as well?
Yeah, because I get, like, I pick up the TNT leaflets, I'll watch the DVDs with my mum. She's quite interested and she's glad that I'm doing something constructive, and it's given me quite a lot of experience for the future.
Although I bet now and then she goes, oh no, TNT again, here we go. You're going to tell me something else about Ladywood. But it sounds like it's really going to be part of your life now.
Yeah.
What's it done for you personally?
Helped me in my confidence, and it helped me become more organised.
And what about local history? Were you interested in local history before?
I weren't that interested. I didn't really care. But since I've been doing TNT, I can walk around the place and know what's happened and why it's happened.
That I can look at a plaque on the wall or a statue, know who put it there, whose name it was and why it's there. I find it quite useful to know so much.
Do you think it's giving you more of an awareness of self-respect for the area?
Yeah, definitely. I find that I'll walk around Ladywood and I can tell people, wow, yeah, I filmed that, I know about that, and I find it quite interesting as well. Like, I know so much about one particular area. Because I see TNT as a positive part of Ladywood. We don't show Ladywood in the bad light that everyone sees it in. We'll go around, we'll pick... Obviously, every area has its flaws.
Of course it does.
But we embrace the better side of Ladywood and show every other area in Birmingham that Ladywood's just as good.